Hi friends, today it's my special opportunity to be with Victoria Forrest, and today we're going to talk about what you can do to stay young and not die.
I would like to start with your journey. How longevity became an interest for you?
It was the result of a thought experiment I did, where I imagined hanging out with the intelligence of the 25th century and observing them contemplating what we as Homo sapiens did in the early 21st century that allowed intelligence to thrive in the galaxy. Now, that kind of detachment allows you some clear-headedness that you otherwise may not do. So, for example, in this moment in time, I may have certain views and observations about what it means to exist as a Homo sapien. But when we look back on the 15th century, we have this cold, detached reality where we kind of compress time and we pull out one or two or three things happen during the century that was really important. And I wanted to do the same thing right now. What is the most important thing that we can do as a species in this moment? And that's when I observed that maybe it was the first time in history where intelligence could say, don't die. And that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm hypothesizing that in this moment, the only thing that matters is don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't kill the planet, and align AI with don't die. It is the singular construction of reality. And so it's deceptively simple, but also endlessly expansive.
If we don't die today in the next 10 years, 100 years, and the next millennia, how will the world look like?
So as you will learn, I really enjoy thinking about life through thought experiments, because I find when I do these, it helps me remove myself from my situation. So this kind of question reminds me of, let's imagine we travel in time 1,000,000 years ago to see Homo erectus. And Homo erectus has an axe in their hand. And you say, Homo erectus, tell us all the reasons why you're excited about the future evolution of your species. Now, it's highly unlikely that Homo evolutus would be able to imagine the internet and computers and building artificial intelligence and airplanes. And of course, that's what we have today. And so first, this question, we need to have a lot of humility. We don't know. And we actually have almost no basis to know, because we're walking into this future that is built in large part with a new form of intelligence and AI. And so when these kinds of questions come up of like, what are you worried about? What do you think is promising? I don't think any of us know. And we can, of course, speculate. It's fun to speculate. But ultimately, I come back to the one thing I do know, which is don't die. Everything above that, it's just speculation.
We have so many age-related diseases right now. How can we make don't die a real thing when cancer is so prevalent, heart diseases are so present?
I mean, don't die is competing with be entertained, make a whole bunch of money, acquire a whole bunch of followers. So there are things that dominate our culture right now. And so if your mantra is be entertained, you do things for that objective at the cost of aging. And what I'm saying is the number one game above all games is don't die. And that's weird to say because it's contrary to how we have life today.
So in order to not die, we don't have to give up entertainment or having fun or going to parties, right? But we maybe have to have moderation. How do you approach this? How do you organize your life in such a way that you have fun but still take care of your own health?
Yeah, we're very good as a species at not dying. If you think about the modern world, so we do basic things like we look both ways before we cross the street. We have smoke detectors. We have clean water. We throw out moldy food. So we do things all day, every day to not die. We breathe every few seconds. And so this extends just a bit more. And so instead of, for example, partying with alcohol, you just remove the alcohol. Or instead of staying up past your bedtime, you do things a bit earlier. And so we're taking don't die as the most played game in the world every single day. It's the only game that every human on this planet plays every second of every day. Once you rise above don't die, we fracture into thousands of different games. So it's the one thing that every human can agree upon. And so, I mean, yes, I guess I would say people hear don't die and they automatically think through a frame of loss. So they think, I'm going to miss out on my parties and I'm going to miss out on the pasta dish I love eating on late Saturday nights with a glass of wine. Or they think about all the things I'll lose. It's a very common reaction that our brain is always mapping fear of loss. And we don't map the potential of gain. And so it's a cultural thing, but we know this, that when our friends start doing something, we all start doing things. And when we all start doing things, suddenly it's all okay. And that's what we will transform ourselves into. Don't die, and it's gonna be all fine and good, and we will forget we ever spent our time dying.
People might argue that it's not that easy to go to bed at 8:30 p.m. when you have kids, when you have chores, when you have so many responsibilities. How would you go about that? How would you organize a day in order to make sure you do the minimum and improve your health or start somewhere?
With children, I have 3 children, so I've been through the process of raising them. If I did it again, I would sit everyone in the family down and say, we are a family that values sleep, all of us. Everyone goes to bed at their same time every night. We'd never get up. So unless you have a life-threatening situation, we don't get up, we don't wake up, the parents, and you just create this culture. If you think about history of human civilization, there's been thousands of human civilizations spring up, and everyone had a different way of being. They had different morals, they had different ethics, different beliefs. None are truth. They're just different ways to do things. And we seem to think that whatever we're doing now was some form of truth. It's not. We're very malleable. And this could easily, this don't die disposition could easily replace whatever's present now. It's just very hard for our minds to get our heads around it. Just like if you're imagining going from monarchy to democracy, like how startling would that idea be that your peers are now voting for who's going to be in political power? That's a wild idea from a monarchy. And we've gone through many transitions like that. So never underestimate how fast change can happen.
Next thing that I have in mind is how physical health is connected with mental health. Because we don't want to be unhappy when removing things from our diet or from our daily lives, hanging out with friends.
First, if we just say, how are we doing today as a species? We're not doing great. Most people have mental health problems. And what I'm proposing is that the prioritization of sleep and of diet and exercise is the best thing one can do for their mental health. And again, this goes back to people process, they think, oh, the don't die thing, that means I can't do the following things. Meanwhile, they're suffering mentally. And if they were to get sleep and diet and exercise predictably and routine, they may feel very differently about reality. Change is hard, being miserable is harder.
I love that.
And that's where people are hanging out in that misery state, and they're assessing, but it really is, it stinks being miserable, but.
It's like choose your hard thing to do, right?
Exactly.
That you can just do all these 3 layers of eating healthy, moving your body, sleeping well, but still we're gonna age. We're gonna still deteriorate. And this is the argument for the biotech to move faster, to bring medicines, to bring that cure of aging.
Yeah.
What's the state of technological progress right now, and where do you think it's going to be in the next 10 years?
We have all the tools we need to solve aging. We can manipulate atoms and molecules. I spent the past 10 years investing in companies that are engineering biology and atoms, nanotechnology, precision chemistry. So I've been in the trenches, I see the technology, I know it works. We have the ability. And if you just take the activity of 8 billion humans and we say, what do 8 billion humans do in any given day? And we redirected a small portion of that attention to don't die, we could accomplish something probably remarkably fast. And this is what the movement is about, is it's trying to call attention to this opportunity we each have. Over time, we value human life differently. Human life used to be pretty cheap. And now what we're willing to spend to keep someone alive is very high. The amount of money we spend on life is very, very high, especially in the economies of the world where they have excess capital. And so that the number we're willing to spend to keep someone alive keeps on going up. And it's like the don't die economy. And it's possible in the very near future, we would think about life with so much sacredness, it would be catastrophic for anyone to die. Whereas right now it's kind of commonplace and it's normal and we just kind of accept it because we don't have any power over it. But if we can transport ourselves in time and come back and say, if we can inhabit that space of how sacred consciousness is, we may think very differently about aging.
This makes me think about the idea of circle of life, and some people having the argument that life should have an ending, and it's moral to not want to live longer or to be greedy and to stay longer here. Makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable when I hear those opinions, because I want to have the choice to live longer if I want to, and if I don't, then that's my choice as well. I think Don't Die is exactly about that, right? To just keep your physical body, your mental health in a state where you get to decide if you want to live infinitely or like 100 years or less.
Yeah.
And lastly, what advice would you give to someone that will try to start their journey?
Yeah, it would be the thing we did at Blueprint, which was unique, is we looked at all the scientific evidence. Every single paper published on health span and lifespan, we ranked them according to the power laws of the effect. And then we looked at the evidence, and then we implemented the power laws. So starting from number 1 on down, we said, can we implement this? Is it safe? Is it effective? And so it's really the power laws. I would say, so it's don't smoke, get 6 hours of exercise per week, eat a Blueprint-like diet, have a BMI of 18.5 to 22.5, and then little to no alcohol consumption. And then make sleep your number 1 life priority. And if you get the power laws right, you can get a life expectancy to 92. And the goal here is to be around long enough to hit this escape. But of course, in this conversation, what I found is you talk about this thing, and then the person's next comment is, what about blank? And so they have something they love, right? It's like something they drink or eat or some practice they have, or everyone's got their special thing. And that's great. Also, we've tried to do the power laws. So we've tried to say, yes, of all the things you can do, it's really important to focus on the things that have the biggest effect and have the most evidence. There's thousands of things on the layer of like, but what about? And we've tried to make it all easy, so it always comes back to the same thing. Go to bed on time, get your exercise, eat well, don't be overweight. So just mastering the basics is the most important thing.
Sounds simple. It is simple, actually, right?
Yeah.
But it's complicated to implement it
and
to start with it. But once you start it, I guess it's easier to just maintain that discipline.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more important for eating what you include or what you remove from the...
Yeah. So oftentimes people find excluding is so much more challenging because not eating potato chips or having dessert or drinking alcohol is the vice that gives them motivation. They treat it as a reward. And so oftentimes excluding the bad stuff is as hard as including. I'd hope all of you are encouraged and motivated that change is hard, being miserable is harder, and that you can try to do one thing today. If you can do one thing, make sleep your number 1 life priority, remap your identity so you see yourself as a professional sleeper. Sleep gets pushed around. It's the last thing on the priority list. If you have work or you have some other kind of obligation, sleep is the one that always gets cut. And by making sleep the top priority, you're just gonna feel better about life and everything else, and doing everything else for your health is going to be easier. Thank you for having me on the podcast today, Victoria. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.